Well, today we have a very special guest here on the What a Cowboy Wears channel. This is Clay Young. I've known Clay most of my whole life, and when I say special guest, you know, a lot of times people will have guests on their channels and they talk about their accolades, and we might talk a little bit about that today. But what I'm excited to talk about, Clay's special to me because of who he is, not what he's done. And I'm excited for you guys to have the opportunity to meet him, to meet someone who I think is as genuine can be. Clay, I'm glad that you agreed to sit down and do this with me. Thank you so much.
Well, it's an honor to stay down and visit with you a little bit. That was quite an introduction there. I think you may have overshot the goal, but anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, my audience knows me for saying what I think. So that's just what I think.
What you should do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And when the square toes first came out, I thought, you're not going to catch me in a pair of those ugly things. And then I put one on, my feet went, because we had no indoor plumbing, we had no bathroom in the house, everything we went outside for. Family's important. I mean, it's important that you laugh with your family and you enjoy your family, because when they're gone, they're gone. I think in life, to be successful, there's a lot of different ways, but find something that you like, you enjoy, and if you'll just stay with it, break over that edge, you know, and you can be a success just like you.
So Clay was my ag teacher at Vanoss High School, and I graduated high school in 2009. How long did you teach ag, Clay?
I taught ag 30 years.
Okay.
The last 20 were at Vanoss. I started out in a little town north of here, about 90 miles, called Cushing.
Okay. And so back through your years before you got into teaching ag, can you tell me a little bit about how you got introduced to the cowboy lifestyle, how you got introduced and influenced to live the life that you've lived? Were you born into a cowboy family, or is this something you adopted?
Oh, we always had cattle and had a horse or two standing around, you know. I remember when we first moved to Lightning Ridge that Dad bought a little herd of cattle over about a mile away, and we just drove them down the road over to our place, you know, and we've always had horses and a few roasts and cattle and no money. So we didn't get to pursue a lot of anything. We just kind of got to live it, you know, and it wasn't a big blown up thing. It was just a get by. Yeah,
absolutely. So did your dad, did he wear boots and hat or
yeah, Dad used to rope goats.
Okay.
And you know, you've heard people call somebody a goat roper. Well, really, that's quite an accolade right there if you can catch one of those things. But of course, life got serious, you know, when marriage come along, kids come along, so all that went to the back burner, and he took on a job and worked at a packing plant.
Okay.
So we always were around agriculture and the beef industry and beef processing, and we always had cattle. So it's just part of our life at that time.
So talking about roping goats, we're at Clay's place here today. He's got his arena over here. I think y'all can probably see that in the edge of the shot. I was here one day, and there were some girls here practicing goat roping. And I don't think you were out here when this happened. You might have been, but I don't think you were. They were pulling a girl on a four-wheeler or side-by-side.
Yeah, that's a teaching aid, and they were tying goats.
Tying
goat
goats.
tying, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big sport, especially in high school rodeos.
Well, she ate it that day. Something happened.
That would have been Kennedy Bickerstaff.
Okay.
And she's pretty Western herself.
Yeah.
She got a lot of game.
Oh, she's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. She ate it hard, but she got up, and it was. You know, you never want to see anybody get hurt, but it's always interesting to see.
There's always somebody like her that's training hard. Then you got to have a couple of friends there that are there purely for the entertainment value of
absolutely,
it all.
absolutely. So you grew up. Your dad had been goat roping. Family took a job at a packing plant. What did you grow up? Did you grow up riding horses? You said there was always some around. You grew up around cattle, all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when we started out, and I'll just give you just a brief history. When we lived at Lightning Ridge, we had no indoor plumbing. We had no bathroom in the house. Everything we went outside for. And we didn't really have a well. We had what we called a cistern, which was just a hole in the ground with a concrete collar around it. and water ran off the edge of the house. What didn't run in the house, it ran down the downspout into an old brick box, and then went over in the what we call the cistern, or a well. You might call it a well, but there was no water in there unless the water got put in there.
Okay.
So, and a lot of times in the summertime, you know, the cistern would get low, and to conserve drinking water, we'd go to the pond and bathe. Of course, we didn't bathe every night, you know. We bathed once, maybe twice a week. We had Saturday for sure, because church was on Sunday. And then, you know, there was a brick missing in the side of it, and you pull the top off, one of those old birds would fly out, you know, and you kind of sit back. You never think anything about it. You just got a bucket of water and went in the house.
Yes,
Everybody drank out of the same dipper, out of the same bucket of water, and that's just the way we were raised until, I guess I was probably 11 or 12 years old when we built a 1,400 square foot mansion over there, 3-bedroom, and we were stepping up then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So had running water and
had
showers
running water, about 2.5 gallons a minute is what the well made. I remember it vividly.
Okay, that's awesome. So I think that's pretty incredible. You know, today, I don't know how much land you own, but you've got some land, and you've got horses, and you've got some cattle, and you've been able to make a life for yourself that you enjoy, I think.
Yes,
doing
absolutely.
some things you do. So I know that there's people watching this, and I'm tempted to have these thoughts myself sometimes as a man trying to make it out there. You think, man, with the land costs today, if you want a ranch or you would like to run cattle on any kind of significant scale or do something, it's kind of hard, you know.
It's tough.
And so, you know, a lot of times people will say, well, if it's not handed to you, it's just not possible in today's world. But, you know, I think anything is possible. And I love hearing that story, because you didn't come from, you know, this land you live on today wasn't your dad's.
No.
It wasn't your grandpa's, you know, it wasn't something passed down. I think it's amazing, those people that have those stories, because to me, family legacy is truly something that is a focus on the forefront of my life, leaving something that I can be proud of for my kids and their kids and on. Because the land that I have was not family, you know, owned as far as in my family for generations. But I grew up on land that was and has been in my family for generations, and it was so special, and that's something that I hope that I could do for my family. So for anyone watching, you know, you don't have to start with it to achieve it. Would you agree?
Oh, I agree. And there's no set way that you have to do to accomplish that. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do, but the main thing is you got to start out small and keep it realistic.
Okay, I like that. So, so you didn't start here. You've grown to here.
Right. We have grown to here. We did a few things. We started out, of course, at Lightning Ridge, and I went to school at Oklahoma State University, and you know, I squeezed 4 years into 5. You know, and finally got out of there and started teaching at Cushing, then moved to Van Alst. My parents lived here, and my mom actually taught there at Van Alst, and they were getting older, and I kind of wanted to be around, you know. Family's important. I mean, it's important that you laugh with your family and you enjoy your family, because when they're gone, they're gone. And so we started over there, and we did a few trades and things like that, and kind of worked our way into this. And Jana's been very supportive. That's my wife. She's been very supportive of my endeavors, and they've not all been successful.
Yeah, well, I can say the same about my wife for sure. Without a supportive wife, I'll tell you, it'd be a lot harder.
It'd be tough.
So.
And my kids enjoyed it, and teaching ag was a good way to raise them, you know, because we traveled going to some stock shows, and my daughter, she rodeoed, you know, and did some things like that, and she's moved on now. She's a doctor in the Yukon. I don't know how that happened. She got that from her mother's side of the family, I think. But so we enjoyed being here, living here, and the horses, and actually Jana used to rope and do some things like that. You wouldn't know it. She did some modeling in Dallas, and then got up here, and I guess I got her going the right direction.
Awesome. That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit more about some family stuff here in a little while. But this channel is called What a Cowboy Wears, and it's obviously we talk about boots, we talk about hats, we talk about belts, all of it. But you know, really, kind of my goal is, I hope that my channel is more about not looking at a man, but looking up to a man. That's kind of my goal. Is
content, yeah.
You know, I want to be able to talk about boots, but I hope to be able to talk about the person inside them. I hope that that becomes more of what people see than just the outside. But we do have a lot of people interested in Western wear that watch. So for you, as long as I've known you, I think you've pretty much been a Wrangler guy. Is that right?
Yeah, and I did get a few cinch jeans, and I think they're a good jean, but they didn't seem to be as tough, as hardy as the Wrangler jeans have. And and I really like the fit of a Wrangler jean and 13 MWZ. You know, that's what I've always worn.
Yes, sir. So I mean, from the time you were a kid, probably, so when you were young, I know, so my grandpa, I haven't ever shared this with you guys, but he worked for Wrangler before it was Wrangler, when it was Bluebell. He repaired their sewing machines at their factory in Seminole, Oklahoma, when it was there, that area.
Had one at 8 at one time.
Okay.
A long time ago.
So so they were Bluebell, then they became Wrangler. When you started wearing Wrangler, I don't know when they switched. Was it Bluebell or was it Wrangler, or do you know?
I don't have any idea.
Okay.
My mom did some work also.
Okay.
At Bluebell.
Okay. Okay. Very cool.
So I wore some second jeans.
Seconds,
you used to buy seconds, and you had to screw your leg into one of them because it was twisted.
Yeah. Didn't they got off somewhere on the machine?
Here, take that one to Clay.
Yeah. So after that happened, that's when they called my grandpa and said something's wrong with this machine.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's really cool. And this is funny. Me growing up, I always heard my grandpa used to work at Bluebell, and I thought he worked for the ice cream.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I was always, because, you know, Grandma would have ice cream when I'd go visit, and I just always assumed my papa had worked for Bluebell ice cream.
That's funny how things change.
I don't think it was till I was a grown man that really got corrected with me. Oh, it wasn't Bluebell ice cream. So I too am a big fan of the Wrangler 13 MWZs. One of you guys commented on Instagram before and said that should be my nickname, because a lot of times I'll do daily little videos, and when I do a video, I'll start from my boots, my pants, belt, shirt, hat, jacket, I forgot one, whatever, and you know, all the time I'll say these are my Wrangler 13 MWZs, and I'll go on, you know, and they're one of the jeans that I do wear most often. I really like them a lot. So tell me, you said you've had these boots a while.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, what are these boots and why you like them?
Well, they feel pretty good. They had this second sole. I'm not sure what kind they are. They were on the sale table downtown down there when I got them.
Yes, sir.
I got a good pair of, I don't remember, from Tony Lama, I think, in the house there. We're going to church and stuff on Sunday. But these, I got them wet last spring, and they got 2 sizes bigger.
Oh.
And so that made it good for my insoles put in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like a good boot. I like a good square heel, one that I can walk on. You know, I like a boot. The bottom's got to come out of the stirrup good. I don't want anything too rough, too aggressive.
Let me ask you about that, because I see that you have a rubber bottom on that, right? Okay. So, you know, you've been riding a long time. I ride a little compared to how much you've rode in your life. I like to ride in a leather bottom, but I have some that are like a hybrid sole that have their leather here, their leather at the toe, and they've got a rubber insert through here. Is rubber your preferred sole? Is it because it lasts longer? Why do you have a rubber sole on your boot?
It's not as slick.
Okay.
It's not as slick. And I just said so it'd come out of the stirrup. When I say that, I want something that's smooth on the bottom.
Okay.
But as far as walking, I like a rubbery type sole. You know, that's the second sole that's on the boots that I'm wearing. So And there's a guy in town, you can drop them off at the feed store and he'll pick them up and fix them and bring them back to the feed store. That's how we get our soles put on around Ada here.
Yes, sir. That's how I got mine done. You guys, if you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you've seen I did a videos not too long ago about 4 different sole types of different boots I have. And I told you several of them had been resold, and that's because Clay told me to do that exactly. So anyway, I like a leather sole. I have a boot that has an oxbow sole. Are you familiar with oxbow?
No, I guess I'm not.
So it's a rubber composite of some kind, but it's not as it feels more like a leather sole, I would say, but it is actually rubber, so it lasts a really long time. It's a pair of horsepower boots. I bought them in December 2023, wore them every day, rode in them almost every day for a little over a year, and they've held up great. The only thing on those is I got new heel caps, but yeah, that oxbow sole. If you guys know, I'm a fan of an oxbow sole on a boot if you ever have the opportunity. Now, it's not called that among all brands. That's kind of exclusive to the Rios or Mercedes brands. So Rios, Olathe, Anderson Bean, Horsepower. But Fenolio's, for example, is called like Ranch Tough. Hyer boots, which is a brand that I've been wearing and working with, they've got one coming out that's different than just their leather sole. So there's all kinds of, I've got crepe sole boots, you know,
yeah,
different stuff. You can go a lot of different ways with that. So, but you like the rubber just for the durability?
The problem with the leather soles, especially when I was teaching ag, I was on concrete all day.
Yeah.
Or go to a stock show, you're on concrete.
Yep.
And they just didn't last very long at all. I ordered a pair of boots or two from a place in, I think, Colorado called Drew's Boots.
Yes, I know. I'm familiar with Drew's.
And they were lace-ups. And they would last, but they were heavy. And the sole was a little bit more aggressive than I like for riding, but they feel good. I like the lace-up boot because I could really pull it up tight around my ankles.
Yes, sir.
But they were good boots. And then, of course, now, you know, I just, whatever's on sale, if it's used to, everything was a round toe.
Yeah.
And when the square toes first came out, I thought, you're not going to catch me in a pair of those ugly things. And then I put one on, my feet went, oh man, yeah, and that's all I wear. And I guess that's about all anybody wears anymore is a square toe type boot.
Yeah, you know, nowadays this cutter toe's real popular, which is, you know, it's still a squared, got a little more room up there. There's a wide square toes, narrow square toes. That's a fun thing about boots is there's all kinds of toe shapes, you know, and there's snip toes, round toes, like you said, a bunch of different stuff. And I think that's one thing that makes Western wear interesting. There's 2 things about it I think is really cool. One thing is it's timeless.
Yeah.
I mean, there's trends that come and go within the Western wear industry, but overall it's going to be boots, button-up shirt, belt, some jeans, and
I remember back in, oh gosh, it must have been 1976, that movie came out, The Urban Cowboy.
Yes, sir.
I couldn't afford a pair of boots after that for a long time. Seemed like everything Western wear went up and shot up, and John Travolta almost broke me. Don't even know him.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of similar. I've heard people talk about that today with this popular Western show Yellowstone. They talk about, you know, right now there is kind of a emergence of Western interest in Western lifestyle and Western culture. A lot of people attribute it to the popularity of that show, but yeah, people say that about all the prices of, I mean, hats and boots and everything now as well. So that is one thing that's interesting. I heard a man talk about it before. He said, I don't understand cowboys. He said, you know, that most of them are, you know, they're broke or they don't have any money, but they're, you know, they'll buy expensive boots or whatever. But now, and I know you said you go get whatever's on sale. Everybody gets what the best they can do for their time or whatever. But at the same time, as a cowboy, your gear and what you use, especially for someone who day works as a cowboy, I mean, that's their job every day. They've got to have something that's going to hold up to the conditions and last, you know, because you putting some stress on whatever you're wearing. You know, you need those jeans to hold up. You need those boots to hold up. You need that hat to last. It's an investment. You know,
It is.
you like you said, you've had these boots for a long time, right? Long time. Boots will last. I think that's another really cool thing about Western wear is just, you know, you can make something last a long time. You might have to get it resold, but on that, I'm not the best at conditioning and like caring for my boots. Do you condition your boots very often or anything?
No.
Okay.
I'm horrible.
Yeah, I don't either. People ask me all the time on here advice about conditioning your boots and this and that, and I always say I'm not really the guy to ask.
If you go past needs foot oil or something like that,
yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm going to condition, that's how I'm going to oil them. And needs foot oil that's about the end of it for me.
Those horsepower boots I mentioned, last year, I don't remember exactly when it was, but I changed the oil in my tractor. And so that's what I did. I just brushed them with some used motor oil and kept going. Yeah. So yeah. So I have some Knees Foot oil for some leather care stuff, and I do have some boot conditioner. But I'll tell you, when my boots got conditioned and taken care of a lot, the man that resold them, when I got my boots back, they were.
Yeah, Ron Britt.
Yeah,
he's one okay. Ron up there. Britt. Yeah, Ron Britt.
They're the one. They looked like phenomenal. He really.
That's when mine get conditioned too. I guess when I wear the sole out of them.
So, okay. So now, you don't have to get up and show everybody or everything. We'll get some B-roll shots of it later. But I noticed you carry a belt knife a lot. Do you have that on today?
Yes.
Okay. So, and
I carry 2 knives.
Okay.
A belt knife and a pocket knife. Not for weapons. They're what I use. I've also got a lighter in my pocket.
Okay.
People say, why do you carry a lighter? You don't smoke or use tobacco. Why do you not carry a lighter?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you never know. I just like to have one.
I do too. I not too long ago kind of got into collecting Zippo lighters. Just because
really?
I don't smoke or anything, either use tobacco of any kind, but I just think they're neat. They're cool, you know. Now, they're not as efficient as like just them.
I'm a big man.
A big man?
Big lighter, yeah.
So, you know, the thing about the Zippo is it evaporates when you put the fluid in there, you know, it'll evaporate or some of it will spill out or whatever. I remember last year, it was during the summer, I had refilled my lighter, been outside working, and my legs started burning, just burning. And anyway, after it had been a few hours, but it just, you know, it was that fluid, some of that fluid had, I guess, just leaked out and then soaked in my pocket and just was soaking on my leg. And
yeah, but they look really cool when you flip them closed.
They do. I was watching some guys do tricks with them.
Oh, really?
Things. So tell me a little bit. Do you wear a certain belt you like a lot? There's, for example, you know, you can get a smooth leather belt. You can get one stitched. I've got on a Buckstitch. You know, what do you have a preference? Tooled? What do you like? Over
the years, I've had every kind of belt that you're talking about, and I've had to poke some holes to make them bigger.
Yes, sir.
But I just have a plain leather strap belt that they made in the saddle shop. I think Tall Sherrill made it over there in his little old leather shop there, and I need another hole, I poke it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hopefully on the end it makes you smaller, not bigger.
So I know you like to rope.
Yes.
You're team roping.
Yes.
Okay. And do you usually head or heel?
Most of the time, I'll heel.
Okay. You've got on a buckle. Is that from roping?
Yes.
Okay. Is this one? This is when you won. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it was probably it was the roping highlight. We'd qualified. They have what they call a World Series Team Roping Association, and so we'd qualified, and we went to Las Vegas, Nevada, which is about 20 hours from here. And
how many people qualify?
Oh, there's all different kinds of levels. They have it handicapped, kind of like golf. You know, everybody has a number, and then you combine those numbers. For instance, I'm a 6 on the heel end, they say. I don't rope that good, but that's the number I got. And then a 4-header, then we can rope in a 10-point roping. And it kind of levels the playing field, you know, and it's really exploded. The series, the world of team roping has gotten big, and because of that, and they've changed the barrier some, made it more friendly, you know, which is what gives the steer an even start, what the barrier does. And,
what year was this, Clay?
This was 2017.
Okay, go ahead.
And so there were 600 teams in the competition. And we had a good day, and we came back 10th high callback. And that's what we call the short round. The teams that qualify for the short round take the top percentage of these teams. And
do you know how many teams that was?
You know, I'm not sure. I think it was about 60 teams. 10% came back for the short round. And it might not have been quite that many. And the guy I was roping with, real good header. His name was Jesse Bailey, real good header. And our last cow, we got him tangled up, and we ended up 5th.
Okay.
And so it was a really good day.
5th out of 600.
Out of 600 teams.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad. It was pretty exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was very pleased.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's so cool. You know, I don't compete in rodeo. My goal, I have a dream of doing some performance horse stuff. Is kind of, you know, what I would eventually like to see myself doing some. Now,
Yeah.
I don't mean full time necessarily, but just competing in some performance of horse events. And
I'm sure they have different levels of that too.
yes, absolutely. And so it'd be fun to win. It'd be fun to win a buckle. I'll get, you know, you get all kinds of people that love you and people that hate you when you share stuff online. And you know, you'll get people, I'd never wear a buckle that was bought, only what I win, you know, stuff like that. And so
A lot of times that stems from some jealousy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not a good thing. They'll eat you.
Yeah.
If they're your friend, they're going to be cheering for you.
Yes, sir.
Either way.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you know, it's lots of cowboys out there that never put a foot in a rodeo arena. You know what I mean? You don't win a buckle unless you compete.
Real. I mean, a lot of those, I know some of them, and they are real. They're the real deal.
Yes, sir. So, anyway, I find that interesting, but it is always neat when you've got some hardware you've earned.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's neat.
Yeah, it's cool. So today, you've got on a plaid patterned shirt here. That's not a Western brand, correct, or is it?
No, I got it at Goodwill.
Okay, absolutely.
For my work shirts and stuff, I just go by, you know, and you know what to say, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yes, sir.
But there's some really nice shirts down there.
100%.
And I just go look through there, and if there's a lady who says, hey, do you like this? No, put it back on the rack.
Yeah. This last weekend, I bought five, I don't remember, 5 or 7 shirts at a garage sale or so. Those are a lot of times some of my favorite shirts to find because I love getting something for a good price, you know, and being able to wear that. Of course, it's fun to get new stuff too.
Well,
but
you know, I go by the Boot Barn occasionally in Ada, and they've got some shirts there. And they're called Rough 45. I'd have thought maybe they named them after President Trump or something. I wasn't sure. But
you know what that is? I think, Clay, it's Rank 45.
You're right.
Rank 45.
Rank 45.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. And some of them, they just like normal material, but they have a little stretch to them, you know?
Yeah.
And they're very comfortable. And they got a button-down collar, and I like a button-down collar.
Okay, I see. You've got that one. So this shirt I'm wearing, we'll just talk about this for a minute. I partner with Ag Gear. This is an Ag Gear shirt, and that's one of the things that's cool about these. You can button the collar down. I like it because...
Oh, I like the snap.
Yeah. Or you can... I, a lot of times, have mine open. But if you want a button-down collar, you just snap it, and you're good to go. So, pretty neat little deal here. And again, like he was talking about stretch, this is more kind of like a performance type material. Some people hate wearing polyester shirt. I like cotton shirts a lot, but I have found this year, partnering with Ag Gear, being out in the hot, doing things I do, this is awesome. Having these laser perforated holes in it, the vents, everything, it really does help me stay cool.
Yeah.
And so...
I had a cat named Polyester one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
is that a cell phone pocket there? Is that what that is?
This is cell phone pocket, or I see guys, they'll put, if they're doctoring cattle, they'll stick vaccines in here or whatever. It's a big pocket, actually, and you can fit a lot. I mean, look, it goes all the way, you know, to my underarm sew line over here. So it's a big pocket, yeah. But I like, when I'm riding, that is one of my favorite things about this shirt because, you know, I try not to be on my phone a whole lot when I'm riding, but this is my job, content creation, whatnot. I'm on my phone a lot. Yeah, being able to one-handed reach up here and unzip my zipper, reach in here and get my phone really comes in handy.
Yeah, I think that, because a lot of times your phone falls out or it won't snap over it,
That's right, it's not big enough.
So I carry mine in my back pocket a lot.
With that being said, if you guys are interested in trying out any ag gear products, they make more. This particular shirt's called the Stockyard. It's a nod to classic Western pearl snap type shirt, but they've got just your regular whole button shirts. They've got hoodies, they've got vests. They've got a lot of things you can check out. aggear.com. I would ask, if you're interested in shopping with them, click the link that I have down in the description of this video. And also you can use my code WACW15. That'll give you 15% off of anything on your whole order. And I get to earn a little commission off of that as well to help keep this channel going. So if you guys are interested, use that code at Ag Gear and save you some money. I want to go back to your belt because we didn't talk about your belt knife. I like that one. There's a horseman that I really like to watch on YouTube to try to learn from. It's a goal of mine to hopefully get to go work with him in person someday. You may have heard of him, maybe you haven't. Craig Cameron?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
He's in his 70s. I think he's about 75 or 76 now. Still works with horses almost every day, puts on clinics, just really cool. I like him, and I like his style. I like trying to learn what I can. He always carries a knife, same as you, right on the front, and I really like that. That's where I've got one that I carry too. Where'd you get that one? Do you know anything about it? What knife it is, or what sheath, or anything?
I've had a couple of friends, a couple of students that make knives.
Okay.
And I had a really good knife, but the sheath wasn't very good and I lost it. And a friend of mine, D. Sherrill, was coming back to Amarillo, and there's a knife shop there, and he stopped and got this knife. And I've had it for years. And there was a saddle shop here named Marty Bird's Saddle Shop.
Yes,
As a matter of fact, I ride Marty Bird saddles. But, you know, he's since stopped making saddles, and they also made this sheath for them. They could do a lot of things like that. But,
do you know what that one's called? Like that style of it, or the sheath? Okay, because you know there's like pancake sheaths or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I did this one. I've had this in a long time, and I don't like a strap across my knife.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one, you know, it sets in really deep. And the handle goes down a long way. So
I mean, that looks a lot like mine. It's just, but how do you carry it to? Show me how you put that on there, if you don't care.
I just slide it up through there like that.
Well, how do you get it to set like this?
It's made at an angle.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
See it's cut at an angle right there a little bit.
Well, maybe I can do that with mine then, because I think mine's just like that. I think I just hadn't been doing it right. Maybe.
Looks like it uses a little bit of angle.
Yeah. I have found. I love carrying a belt on my knife on my belt because, yeah, when you're out working doing stuff, it's so much easier to just reach and grab and not have to dig in your pocket and you know, unfold your knife. I carry a pocket knife too. Tell me, you said you carry a pocket knife. Tell me about your pocket knife.
Oh, it's one that I think the kids actually gave it to me at when I was teaching ag.
Okay.
Had a long time. I like a pocket knife that's round.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't rub a hole in your pocket so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a two blade. It's a case.
Mm-hmm.
And
bone handle.
Long handle, bone handle. And this is sharper than this knife is. If I need or I want to castrate or something like that, I don't have a scalpel or something. This knife on my belt, emergencies.
Yeah.
I've a time or two's all in life. I've been in the arena when somebody got tangled up, and you can cut that rope real fast if you have to. So it's handy for that. My problem is I don't keep it sharp enough a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But when that rope's getting stretched pretty tight, it doesn't have to be very sharp to cut it.
Yeah. I also carry a pocket knife most of the time. I always have at least one knife, but yeah, this one is a case as well. I really like the case knives. This one's called the Mini Copper Lock. I like it because it locks. I don't like it real big, you know, in my pocket for me most of the time, and that's why I like carrying this one. But yeah, a good pocket knife. I've got a few. I'm gonna do a video on all my knives too sometime.
I like a real smooth knife. I've got one or two that I got lucky and, you know, won as a prize, and they're kind of fancy, you know, and they're not good to carry because they are rough.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see, Clay. Now this is hot summertime here in Oklahoma. Right now it feels wonderful.
Pretty nice in this shade and got a good breeze.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't complain about this weather right here at any point in time. But we get hot here in Oklahoma. I saw a graph floating around on Facebook, and I assume this is true.
Gotta be on Facebook.
But you know, people think of Florida like hot, you know, and I don't know, maybe you saw this too or not, but it showed days in Florida. It showed like 2 cities, and then it showed just not every state in the U.S., but just a few random states. Days over 100 in Florida had been 1 day since the 1800s, I think. This is what it said in this city in Florida, at least. But it showed in Oklahoma it was 1,445 days, and so it gets hot here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it does.
So, you know, when it's hot, most people prefer to wear a straw hat, at least around here. A couple years ago, I didn't have a good straw that I liked. I wore my felt through the whole summer, everything. It's preference, you know, but you like to wear a straw.
I wear a straw a lot in summertime. When you don't have any hair like I don't, you know, you need to keep your head covered. I've always worn a hat. I've worn a hat for 60 years. And I go through about 1 straw hat, sometimes 2 a summer. I've got one good straw hat. It's an American, and it was a gift, so to speak. And I save it for the important days, I guess.
Sir.
I don't know.
Yes, sir.
I try to keep one good one.
So tell me about this one. When you're gonna buy one that you know you're just going to work in, I mean, you're looking for one that fits, and are you just kind of looking for cheap, or what are you looking for?
It's gotta fit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to whine about the price no matter what it is, because I know the guy that sells them to me.
Okay.
So if I don't whine, he'd be disappointed. And I want at least a 4-inch brim, and maybe 4.5 sometimes, because I got to keep the sun off my face.
Yes, sir.
And off my ears and stuff, which is, you know, skin cancer. Not very fun, I wouldn't imagine.
No, sir.
I know my wife's had a bout or 2 with it, so you know, we're pretty conscious of that.
Yes, sir.
And but the important thing, all this has got to look good.
Yes, sir.
And then it's got to fit my head.
So different manufacturers, when I try on hats, I mean, just because you wear a 7 or a 7 1/8 or whatever at one brand doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to wear that in another. And I always have to get a long oval for my head.
Me too.
And when I went and got sized for a hat before, they said actually my head is like a long oval, you know, so to get something that would really fit me good and not have any gaps on the side or anything, it'd take probably, you know, getting like a custom hat. That'd be awesome someday. This hat came from a custom hat maker. This is an American hat. I just got this one at that same rodeo. Do you know Shorty's? So Shorty's was there selling hats. And this one was gifted to me by Shorty's, and it's an American. They sell American hats. I don't like a huge brim. I've got a little bit smaller face, a little smaller build. It kind of depends on the shape of the hat, but this one is a 4 1/4 inch brim. And so it's an American, and this is my first American hat that I've ever had. And yeah, a lot of people really seem to like American hat.
They're a good hat.
And so kind of my purpose in saying all of that is, do you have a certain manufacturer you found, certain hat maker you found that you feel like really fits your head best?
Straw hats?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would probably be the American hat.
Okay.
I've had some off-brand, or I say off-brand, maybe not as popular brand, and seem like they don't fit as good. Now, they'll finally break in once you sweat them out a few times, you know, but I'm in the brush a lot, and I'm always in the arena, and I want one that's going to stay on my head going down the arena. And so, because if you let your hat blow off when in roping pin, you have 10 push-ups.
Okay.
So, which is not a big deal, but everybody's laughing at you when you're doing them. So we have a good time with that. But the main thing is that it fits and it stays on my head.
Yes, sir. So I was wearing this hat yesterday here in your arena, riding around a little while. This week is the first week I've worn this hat riding in much there at home. This is my nice. I try to keep this as my nicer hat. I'm not good at keeping things as my nice thing, you know.
I just got my things, yeah.
Yeah, But anyway, compared to my other straw, which is the Atwood Hat Company straw, you know, this one's a lot nicer shape, a lot better condition for sure. So trying to keep it that way. But I really like to test things out. So you know, if you got to test it out. You can't test it out if you don't wear it. Don't use it. So I was wondering last night, talking about your hat blowing off, because again, this hat doesn't fit me perfect, but I was wondering if I was going to leave here with some of that red tint to it or not. So that clay over there. Well, so you were very involved with FFA, Future Farmers of America. I did some speech there in FFA, some land judging in FFA. You had a lot of students that would show cattle, pigs.
There's something
sheep.
for everyone in there.
Yeah. I love to speak, you know, and I love to have the opportunity. The reason I love to speak is not to hear myself talk. I love to have the opportunity to maybe say something that could help somebody, encourage somebody, something that can maybe make a difference for a person. If you've got the opportunity, it's just me, you know, but if you've got an opportunity to speak into somebody's life that can help them, I just think that that's a really high honor, you know. And so I really enjoyed doing this speech in FFA. Of course, I enjoyed getting to get out of class and go, you know, as well. But looking back over your years in ag and your years in FFA, what do you think are some of the highlights for you, whether it was helping a student win something or just some memories you created? Because you did it 30 years. That's a long time. Tell me about some of those highlights.
A lot of the highlights are seeing my students excel. And their parents had a great group of parents, and we had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, some serious stuff too, and a few hard times. You know, things happen in life. And I can think of a couple of highlights right offhand. When I was teaching at Cushing, we had a program called Artificial Insemination Program. This was a different type of AI.
Yeah.
And anyway, we were breeding some heifers and stuff, and we decided that we were going to raise us a really good show heifer. And so I had this little girl in ag. Her name was Kim Vassar, and her brother was older than her by about 4 years, so he was showing shorthorn cattle all the time too, and she was just coming up. So she got to kind of benefit, you know, from his work already. As he was moving out, she was coming, because it's a 4-year program, or 5 years some places now. But so we bought us some sexed semen. Okay. You know, if you buy a bull, you're going to have a bull. If you buy a heifer, you're going to have a heifer. So we buy us a heifer semen, and we artificially inseminate her show heifer and have the biggest, prettiest bull calf. So we decided we'll just show this bull calf. And so we did, and we started going to some shows, and this calf just kept coming. It looked really good, and started getting a lot of notoriety, a lot of attention. And so, make a long story short, by the time we got through, that little girl, as a sophomore in high school, had the Grand National Champion Shorthorn Bull in Denver, Colorado. And that was a fun experience. It was a Cinderella story. It was a highlight for her, and also a highlight for me, and the whole community kind of pulled together a new old owl, you know, the Shorthorn Bull. So that was a highlight there. That's awesome. And that was really an exciting thing. And there's just been a lot of highlights like that, because you see kids excel, and they step outside their comfort zone, and they learn to do some things, and they get their confidence up. And confidence is an important thing. I think in life, to be successful, that there's a lot of different ways, but find something that you like, you enjoy, and if you'll just stay with it, break over that edge, you know, and you can be a success just like you. You know, start out doing some public speaking, and I consider you a success because you've taken nobody woke you up this morning and said, hey, you go over Clay's. You know, you woke up and you did that on your own accord, a self-starter, and I like that. I like that.
Well, it's a really awesome when you have people in your life through the years that do encourage that confidence in you, tell you to go for things. Not everybody has that, but I think that that's one thing that's really great about your years as being involved in ag and teaching is I think that you did a great job of
thank you.
You know, doing that for students, and so job well done with that. And you mentioned this wasn't planned, but I just want to talk about this for a second. You know, you mentioned highlights, you mentioned lowlights. I believe it was my 7th or 8th grade year, we got a new family that moved to Van Oss. It was the Snowden family. Yeah. And so new student, his name was Tyler. Clay called him Willie because I believe was his first name William. Was that
I don't know.
William?
I always called him Willie.
Clay always called him Willie. And Tyler was a pretty good friend of mine. Tyler was a quiet kid in class, a quiet kid in school, but I was excited. You know, me I'm a Christian, and that's something that's real important to me. I try to live my life in a way that pleases God, and I mess up a lot, but it's something that is important to me. So when I try to, if I can connect with someone in that way that's another believer and trying to live right, well, that was Tyler. So I was excited when Tyler came to our school. Because anytime I could make a new friend that was a Christian and level-headed and trying to live right, that was something I was excited about. And so Tyler, let's see. I know I had class with him through freshman. I believe it was through between my freshman and sophomore year. He passed away, and
I think he was going to be our FFA president next year. So I think it might have been a little older than that.
Okay,
yeah, your children.
I couldn't remember exactly when it was. There was a few students that, you know, through the years that, you know, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this, pass away through your time in school. So Tyler, his uncle, he's a college pastor here in our community, and Chris Snowden, he actually is the one that officiated mine and my wife's wedding.
Oh, really?
And we just celebrated 15 years married.
Are you that old?
Well, I got married at 19, so yep. So
that makes me old too.
So, but Tyler, he passed away in rafting with his family, right?
Well, actually, they were in Missouri at a family reunion, and it had come a big rain, and the boys were down there playing in the creek.
So it wasn't rafting?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
And the accident happened then.
But, you know, I just think it's cool. It's cool. So you had embraced that family and gotten close with them.
Oh, yeah.
And you
couldn't help but get embraced. I mean, they were just those kind of, you couldn't help but get close to them. They were just good people.
Yes, absolutely. So now, what's cool about that, Tyler had two older brothers, so Travis and Tanner. And so now you just went out to Colorado and did a little work out there helping. So
yeah, we've been going out the last couple of years, and Travis and his wife, Sarah Jane, good people. They have a beef business up there. And Travis manages a ranch in addition to that. And then we go up there and we help them work cattle, just one section of the cattle that they have. And it's always a really good time. They're just a lot of fun.
So you can buy their beef, and I know that they had been operating under the name Snowden Meats, but they've recently changed it, Clay, and you're probably like me. Yeah, might not can remember.
I got an excuse. I'm old.
So I'll put this name, like I said, this wasn't planned. So I'll put this name on the screen, the name of their beef that you can buy. I believe you can have it shipped anywhere to you in the continental United States, I would think. And you guys, you've ate their beef, I
Yeah.
assume.
Mhm.
So good stuff.
Good stuff.
Okay. I wouldn't want you to recommend something that wasn't, but
No,
I knew
wouldn't
it would
do it.
be. Yeah. So I can't say I haven't eaten it, you guys. So listen, I'm not going to lie about it, but I know the people, and I know they're great people, and so I know that they do a great job with their whole operation. So check them out. Get you some beef. This isn't anything that I'm paid or sponsored to do, just good people. If you like supporting good people, you want to support the ag industry, you want some good beef, go get some. Used to be Snowden Meats, and now it's
Yampa, Colorado.
this new name, Yampa, Colorado. Okay.
Something Creek. Brinker?
We could look it up.
Brinker Creek or something?
Yeah, I'll make sure I'll put the link to their website down here in the description so you guys can go get you some beef.
I hope that's the right name so I can say I remembered it and you didn't.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I sure don't remember it.
I think Brinker Creek, they just changed it.
Just changed it. Like I saw it maybe last week or a couple weeks ago. But you went out there, and so this is something for me. I grew up around cattle. My great-grandpa had cattle. My grandpa ran cattle with him. After school, for many years, they fed square bells. So after school, oftentimes my job was have a snack, take a little break, and then we would go up to my pawpaw's house, and my great-grandpa and his son, my pawpaw, and we'd go to the barn. I'd climb up and throw down square bells, and then we would go feed. I did that for years. Hauled hay in the summer. Then as I got older, they moved to round bales. So, you know, that was a little different story. They'd do that on a tractor.
I remember that.
But I miss those square bell days in some ways, just because it was more time together, you know, and so I liked that. But I say that to say I didn't grow up around horses, though. You know, we just four-wheeler and the old truck that we fed out of. Never had horses. Always wanted a horse. Got into horses a few years ago. You're a horseman. You've been riding horses your whole life. You own several horses. What do you look for in a horse? And do you look for the same thing? And where I'm going to lead with this is you going out to Colorado and working with them out there, Brandon and stuff like that. What do you look? Do you look for the same thing when you're looking like for a good rope horse or a good ranch horse? What are you looking for in a horse? Are you looking for the same thing in those?
Something very similar. Okay. I mean, I need some bone in a horse and a big round foot. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like to ride a pretty horse. Yeah. I don't mind having an ugly dog, but I like to have a pretty horse and a pretty wife. Yeah. And so that's important. And of course, bloodlines are important. Some bloodlines seem like, of course, they're running bred, then they're cow bred and different things, you know. But the bottom line for me is when I look at the horse, do I like what I see? Mm-hmm. And color's secondary. Mm-hmm. So, of course, I like to ride a pretty colored horse too. So you can see in the back there's a bay horse there, and there's a buckskin down there, and a sorrel. And I used to say, you know, that I just wouldn't ride a mare, but that's changed. I've kind of woke up and decided, you know, I would ride some mares, and I've got some. But the main thing and attitude. I don't mind one being a little slow to learn, but I don't like one that I feel like's trying to hurt me, mm-hmm. you know, or get out from under me or something like that. Mm-hmm. I like to have one that I can throw my grandson up on and let him sit there and not have to worry about whether he's going to jump out from under him or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, and willingness. You know, horses, I don't want to have to push a horse all the time. I want him to be willing to give that to me. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of that comes with use and wet saddle blankets. Mm-hmm. I'm not a great horse trainer. I've used a lot of horses. There's a lot of guys that are better horsemen than I am. But just through experience and over the years, you know, I've learned a lot, and I've learned that, you know, by doing. Mm-hmm. So when I look for a horse, I like a horse really that's from 7 to 14, 15 years old. Mm-hmm. Not that those horses older than that are not good, because they are. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those horses that are really good that you'll see at like the national final someplace, they may be 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, but they get dependable right then, and they yell to the crowd and everything like that. We don't really rodeo anymore. We used to rodeo some, you know, some jackpots, some open rodeos and things like that, and got along fairly well. But anymore, we just go to the World Series ropings, and we haven't done that much this year. I guess that's a sign of my age. But I enjoy horses. I think Will Rogers said something one time like there's something about the outside of a horse good for the inside of a man. And
yes, sir.
there's nothing like throwing a leg over a good horse and just hitting the pasture, you know, and checking cows and looking and just enjoying yourself.
Absolutely, I would agree with that 100%, and I like that quote. And so my channel, we talk about Western wear, and what my little heading says on my social media pages is exploring the world of Western wear and cowboy gear. So when it comes to cowboy gear, we've talked about that some, just as far as the knives and this and that, a lot about, you know, all of it's your gear. That's the thing about cowboys, you know, the clothes is not a style, it is, but it's a function, you know, there's function to all of it. With that being said, and I know that this has probably changed a bunch through the years. One thing you mentioned is that you ride on Marty Bird saddles. Marty Bird is local to our community, and he's not making, that I'm aware of, he's not making stuff anymore. I have a head stall that I had on my horse here last night that I got at his saddle shop. Marty Bird saddles, do you have a preferred, what's your preferred saddle pad? What's the material makeup, maybe the brand, and why do you like it?
Oh, I usually like a Navajo pad or blanket, and then just some kind of a nice felt pad. Pads are like anything else. You can spend as much money as you want to, and quality matters in pads because you got to take care of the horse's back.
Yes, sir.
A saddle that doesn't fit well is like wearing a shoe that doesn't fit well. The more you walk in it, the sore your foot gets. And then a lot of times, if the horse may not be working good or something, it may be something that's pinching or something that's biting him a little bit on that pad or the saddle. And so that's important. I just go to the feed store here, and I like a good, thick Navajo blanket, you know. And then they make some pads that have a cotton bottom, fleece on the bottom, that I just use just that, and it's good and thick. And that seems to work real well, too. Horses' backs are different, just like people's feet are different. So the Marty Bird saddle, they seem to set down good and low on the withers. They don't hit the wither, but even if your horse don't have a lot of wither, well, they seem to snug up pretty good. There was a saddle, a guy made a saddle, Howard Council, years ago, made a really nice saddle, and they're probably going to be quite a bit heavier. And then there was a saddle maker, had some of them in Sulphur for a long time. Jody Raymer and them, good grief, came on blank.
Billy Cook?
Billy Cook made some good saddles too. And sometimes the saddles you win, they won't be as good a quality as one that you can go have made or buy at the store, because obviously, you know, it's a promotional deal when you win something like that, and it's just not as sturdy made sometimes.
Now, what I've kind of heard with the Billy Cook brand is people say if it's made in Sulphur, Oklahoma, it's better than the Greenville, Texas.
Probably could be.
I think that's what I hear. So I haven't ever owned a Billy Cook saddle, but I've been interested in them. As a matter of fact, I was on their website 2 days ago. Not too long ago, I saw a post they were looking for somebody to help them with social media stuff, and I thought, well, I might could do that. I tried to call. Said if you want to talk the Cowboy way, and it had a phone number instead of just, you know, through the internet. But I called and it just beep, beep, beep. So anyway, I was trying to get a hold of them. But yeah, I think I've got a lot to learn in that area about saddles and how they fit, and you know, different things, trying different pads and stuff. So I always like to get people's thoughts and opinion on that. So I ride most of the time I ride in like a D-ring snaffle, and then I've got a leverage bit as well that I use sometimes. Do you have a favorite bit or like a favorite mouthpiece that you like to use for what you do?
I've got a couple of Kelly bits I like really well. Blessing makes a good bit. And there's some Sleester bits that I don't think they have any anymore, but they were really good. A lot of it depends on the horse. You know, is he hard mouthed, is he soft mouthed, is he light to ride, you know. So you just have to kind of keep changing bits until you find something that works. And I don't like to just put a bit in a horse's mouth and just ride that forever. You know, I think sometimes it's good to change bits, you know, switch them around a little bit, you know, so they don't get used to it. But it's important that the bit doesn't hurt the horse. It doesn't rub a blister or it doesn't pinch or something like that. I think that's really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I've had a lot of fun sitting down today discussing all of these things, and I know there's so much more that you could share in a conversation about all of these things. I think one thing kind of to end with, wrapping up, I'd like to ask you about is, you know, again, I talked about people online, they can be as nasty as they want to be. And they'll say things online they'd never say to your face, that's for sure, you know. Or if they did, they'd regret it. But, you know, what do you think, because I'll get people, you know, this morning I woke up to nasty comment. What is a cowboy to you? Tell me, to you, what is a cowboy, and how should a person live that maybe they're not a cowboy, but there's a code of a cowboy code. There's a code of ethics. There's a way a cowboy should live, I think, that can apply to a person, whether they get up and wear boots and a hat and get on a horse or go work cattle, that I think can be good for the whole world. Tell me some of those things you think that a person who maybe admires the cowboy way of living but doesn't get to live the cowboy way of life, what are those things that go beyond, you know, the job of a cowboy? What are those things that people watching can take and carry with them? And then to you, what is a cowboy? I know that's a
family.
big question, I know, but
to me, it's of course, you know, you can look around here and you know that this didn't just happen, that God made this. And so that's important to me. And of course, my family is important. Honesty, integrity, be a man of my word, be quick to apologize if you need to. Sometimes my problem I get into is I insert my thoughts into something that I shouldn't have. You know, I've always got the best intentions, but even the best intentions can go awry sometimes. So I want people to believe in me, and I want them to know that I want them to think about me, they smile. You know, I like humor.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
I like a lot of humor. Foul language, I'm out. You know, I'm just not going to listen to that. I'm just going to move on. You know, that's the trouble I have with the Yellowstone show.
yeah,
You know, that just wears me out. I don't mess with that much.
my wife and I made it through. Now I'll say this: Taylor Sheridan, probably the writer, he can write some great. He's a great writer, but the content of his writing, I think we made it through about 4 episodes of that show. Saw some things we didn't want to see, heard a lot of things we didn't want to hear, and we just never watched any more of it. I would like to, because it's you know, I would enjoy getting to watch a show that's, you know, about. I mean, we love, well, my daughter, she's funny, just yesterday. Stevie, she wanted to watch John Wayne, you know, and there's a picture I have of John Wayne hanging in my house from when he was a younger man, and she's always thought that was me. I don't look like John Wayne, but she just
does her.
Yeah, and so, but anyway, so we love watching, you know, old westerns. We just went to, it was funny, you know, I mentioned my wife and I just celebrated 15 years married. We got married at the McSwain Theater. And so on our 15th year anniversary this year, it just so happened the McSwain Theater was showing a movie, and you could go, you could get popcorn and a drink and the movie for $5. So that's a pretty good deal.
Holy Toledo, yeah.
And so I went, my wife went, my daughter went. They were playing Hot Lead, Cold Feet, I think what it is. It's Don Knotts movie. And so anyway, we had a great time. But we love watching old westerns. You know, we love watching good, clean stuff, you know, things that we don't have to be worried about. And I don't think you should just worry about it for your kids. You should worry about it for yourself. You know, people say, you know, it's not good for kids. Well, why is it good for you? You know, I mean, if it's not good for a kid.
Well, you know, the Bible, you know, Luke 17:2 says it best. You know, if you steal the innocence of a child, you should have a millstone, which is a big rock, tied around your neck and cast in the ocean. And all the years that I taught ag, that was implanted in my, you know, I wanted to be a good role model, and I've not always been. I'm not perfect. I know that's going to come as a shock to you, but I'm not perfect. But I try to take care of that innocence, you know. So if I can't sit there with my family and watch it, and I don't want to have to say, hey, kids, go in the other room, you know. So,
right.
And so I don't know, that's just important to me, and I feel like that if people believe in you, you know, then they want you they pull for you. They want you to be a success. You know, I'll never forget, talking about new families moving in, you know, to Van Oss. There was a guy, he's passed away now, and Bowley, remember him? And his daughter, Casey, and he made hats, felt hats.
Yes, sir.
And so custom hats, and I'm at the classroom, and the door opens up. He was a rough, gruff old cowboy now. I mean, he had some stories. And he said, here. I said, Mr. Bowling, I can't afford that hat. He said, it's just a 50X, I'm giving it to you. I said, why are you giving it to me? He said, I want to see if it'll last. So I wore that hat a year. And the door opened up again a year later. He said, give me that hat. Here. I said, what's that? He said, it's a 100X. You're making me look bad, that 50X. But, he was a great guy. As a matter of fact, his wife, Cindy, still makes hats in Ada here.
I talked to her about a year ago or so, and she told me she was going to be about a year out, I think, or so. I haven't moved forward. You know, that's a big investment to make in a custom hat, but I hope to get one, and I'd like to get one from her, being that it's a family I know and everything. And so, yeah, that's pretty cool.
I call her up and say, hey, Cindy, 7 3/8. If you've got one messed up or kind of a second or something like that, come by, holler at me.
There we go.
And she will occasionally, and I'll have a hat.
That's awesome.
I can get a pretty good rate on that way.
Yes, sir.
But I got a flawed head anyway. It's a little flawed, and I hurt me with a hat.
Mine's more flawed on the inside than the outside, I think. So, Clay, last thing we were talking about Western shows, Western movies, whatever. You know, I've got some favorites. Do you have a favorite Western movie or TV series?
Lonesome Dove.
Lonesome Dove,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Augustus McCrae, right?
Yeah.
That's
Augustus McCrae and Woodrow F. Call.
Yeah.
I know some people just like that.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you need to get around sometime when we're all together. It's very entertaining.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
you got to be thick-skinned.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I sure have enjoyed this, sitting down.
I have too.
Learning more about you, where you've come from, and, you know, just more about your story, who you are, and why you like to wear what you wear and what you use it for. I'd like to sit down and do it again sometime.
Great. I'd love to.
And I think all of you guys are going to have really enjoyed it. If you've made it this far and you're still watching and you didn't enjoy it, I'm sorry for the torture. But thanks for hanging out with us here today. Thanks for supporting. If you have made it this far and you hadn't done so yet, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel, and if you enjoyed it, give us a like. But most importantly, what I really enjoy is when you comment and tell me, you know, if you got anything good out of this, anything particular that you enjoyed, and maybe something that we didn't talk about that you'd like to see next time. I'm continually making content, and I like to make things you guys like to see. So go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you want to see or what you enjoyed, maybe what you'd like to see more of, even if it is something that we covered. And I'll catch you next time right here on What a Cowboy Wears.
Thank you.
That's it, Clay.
Enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.